and welcome to this special edition, part of our continuing coverage of the crisis brewing in Israel, the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. Over 3 Israeli teenagers kidnapped on Thursday night. Israeli Prime Minister said today that the operation to find the missing teenagers could take days. We know that the real war right now is happening also in the social media, it's happening in the internet, and it's happening on the rumors that we are getting since the beginning of this operation from the IDF, from the Israeli side, and also from the Palestinian side. And now it became a totally different battlefield that do we know how to handle?
Social media has always been the first place where you get the news since it's here. You know, every news that comes out, you can hear it first, you can read it first on Twitter, on Facebook, on different channels, on the digital platforms. Right now, there is a huge campaign in Israel called Bring back the boys. Yeah, and it refers to the Bring Back Our Girls, of course, that ran on May recently. And there's more than 82,000 likes on the Facebook page. It's a huge power, and it's all over the world. People are uploading pictures and images with posters and slogans of Bring Back Our Boys. There's a real war out there because it's not only our side, it's also Palestinian side that is bringing also up all those slogans against the Israelis or against all this issue of the kidnapped kids. And the main thing to understand is that one of the most important things is that the Israelis and the Palestinians are using the same hashtag or the same backfiring. They're actually backfiring at who starts the war. I mean, if Israel starts Bring Back Our Boys in a hashtag on Twitter, then Palestinians are using pictures and different images of Palestinians that of Israelis that capturing the kids.
We'll continue talking about this matter, but joining me right now live from Israel's Central Command Headquarters in Jerusalem is i24News diplomatic correspondent Tal Navarro. Tal, so what was discussed in the Israeli cabinet meeting early on today?
Well, good evening, Lucy. Today, the Israeli Security Cabinet was convened for the second time since the crisis broke down on Thursday. And if the first meeting that was convened on Saturday was mainly used for a discussion and for a briefing of the security events, in this meeting already it was much more significant, and the cabinet ministers are already down to discussing details and to discussing measures. They're trying to find a way to punish Hamas, to crush Hamas, and to make the Hamas leadership pay a price for the abduction. But this meeting ends with no conclusions, and the Israeli Security Cabinet will be convened again tomorrow in Tel Aviv to continue the discussion.
Yes, Tal Navarro, thank you very much for this. And we're moving to the daily question. As is now almost standard around the world, social media becomes part of the news after 3 Israeli teens were kidnapped on Thursday, allegedly by Hamas. A Twitter and Facebook campaign, Bring Back Our Boys, was launched mimicking the Nigeria's big Bring Back Our Girls. Arab media was quick to make its own version. Today on the daily question, we asked you, can social media play a role in the case of the kidnapped Israeli teens? And joining me right now in the studio to look at what some of our viewers had to say is i24News editor Noreen Sanger. Good evening.
Good evening, Lucy.
And still with us is a social media consultant, Tal Navarro. Thank you very much for staying with us. So let's see what our viewers had to say.
Let's get right into it. Lucy, you mentioned Bring Back Our Boys mimic the Nigerian campaign, but it got a lot more blowback than that one did from the Palestinian side. Collectively, i24News viewers said it can play a role. Social media can play a role. 62% said yes, 33% said no. But on that, within the yes and within the no, they were almost as divided as the social media campaigns themselves. I just want to read a few of them out. Those who said it can were divided. Naomi says, on one hand, a social media campaign can bring about more awareness, and this can lead to more pressure on the kidnappers. Barbara, on the other side, yes, they can, a very dangerous effect. The more social media plays it up, the better for the kidnappers. After all, their goal is attention, exposure, and the highest price possible. So you have people say it can play a role, it's good, it will help bring attention to the plight of the kidnappers. On the other hand, you have them saying, this is terrorism is theater. This is exactly what the kidnappers want.
How effective is these campaigns on the social media? Because at the end of the day, sometimes it's helping, and sometimes it's creating, let's say, a discomfort. Because in the case of the Nigerian girls, a lot of people said about this, about Michelle Obama's campaign, that it's a little bit pathetic to see someone who's just at the middle of the day saying about 200 girls, bring back our girls.
A lot of people say that, you know, they don't have the power and they don't have the tools to fight it, so they bring up posters online. But Michelle Obama could do much more than that, and that's what, you know, people are saying. At the end of the day, social media affects a lot, and it affects for good and it affects for bad. Each battle, it's different, and on this case, it affects for both sides, because First thing, the IDF uploaded a picture saying, bring back our boys, and a lot of people brought up this, and then it was backfired at them, and a lot of people from Palestinian side, and the same to Michelle Obama, it happened, that she got a lot of pictures of her popped up all over, and saying a lot of signs on her poster in with different messages. So basically, and also this hashtag, there's a hashtag says, bring back our boys, which had 2,800 tweets per hour in the beginning.
And it developed into a sort of hashtag war.
Exactly,
Side.
And the Palestinians bring it up against the Israelis. So it's a real war out there.
I have to say, a lot of our viewers on the no side were also quite pessimistic. They're saying what you were mentioning with the Michelle Obama, bring back our girls, that it's sort of naive. Anis said, don't think so. Just like the campaign in Nigeria, it's mostly an opportunity to feel for celebrities to feel they're doing something important. The story has left the news cycle, hasn't it? So maybe it is a wave, and then it kind of disappears with the rest of news. Others were equally sort of belittling the use of it. But then again, we have others saying that, like Yves Brahim, for evil to flourish, it only requires good men to do nothing. So we have these viewers who are saying, okay, maybe it won't change the world, but to do nothing is worse. So to spread it on social media may help.
You know, we are trying to see what we can do as civilians and what we can do as media.
You know, as individuals, we don't have any different power, different tool, anything else we can do except shouting on the social media platforms. And this is also something that comes directly to those people who we want to reach.
What is the problem? No red lines in the social media.
That's a problem. That's a known problem. A known problem for, you know, governments, for not only for this war specific, but for, you know, everyone.
It makes me think of just one of our viewers said, Maria, who said disinformation is a tactical method of warfare throughout history. Social media is the disinformation warfare of the 21st century. So it's been used in the story a lot to spread various rumors that we found out were incorrect. So maybe this is just our new version of spreading disinformation and psychological warfare.
You know, this is psychological warfare.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And we are seeing that the Palestinians are also playing with this by sending wrong messages to the IDF. And I'm saying, when maybe I don't know how you can put a responsibility on each and every individual around the world, but we need to understand that we have responsibility when we are typing our words out there, when we are saying what we're saying, because this can prevent, or this can danger the lives of people who are trying to do their job.
You know, sometimes I think that, first of all, we need to understand that Facebook and Twitter and all the social platforms are democratic places. They're open channels for people to say what they want and represent what they want to represent. And the most important thing is to understand that governments and armies and different groups has to teach from the DNA of their society, to bring courses, to teach, to make them understand how responsible they are, all the soldiers, all the people in the government. Everyone has to understand that it is their responsibility. When they're writing something, it goes to everyone. And not everyone understands that. Not everyone knows the social platforms, not everyone knows how to use them, not everyone understands them. And if we don't teach them from the DNA, even soldiers, even, you know,
civilians, just civilians.
Social media has power, so use it for good
purposes. Yeah, in schools
definitely.
or everywhere.
We just have to go out for a small break, 2-minute break, 4-minute break, and then 5-minute break, and then we will be back for the rest of this special edition of The Millennium.